You know, there are very few movies out there that I would personally consider to be once in a lifetime. You know the ones. Those films that not only broke the mold, but redefined what it is to be cinema. Those projects that managed to set a new standard on not only a cinematic level, but a cultural level also. Things like the Spider-Verse movies, redefining the animation and comic book space, or the original Star Wars movies that managed to create a social empire in of itself. Movies like those are so incredibly rare, and that's because only the best of the best are able to reach that status. And it's my belief that Sinners is another one of those movies.
You twins?
Nah, we cousins.
Honestly, what is there to say about this movie that hasn't already been said? Well, for me at least, this was a movie that I initially didn't have that much interest towards. Its trailer didn't really amaze me, and I wasn't really expecting much from this movie outside of a few memorable moments, but oh boy, was I wrong. Because Sinners was not just another run-of-the-mill horror movie, it's an important and meaningful phenomenon that, despite the skepticism, has managed to claw out a major success, with it being so strong that it returned to IMAX theaters despite a new Marvel movie being released not too long after it. This film is quite frankly just so rich in its themes, cinematography, character work, and so much more that it quite frankly has to be seen in order to be believed. And I'm someone who has no personal connection to this movie or its themes, as culturally it's not that significant to me, but despite that, it managed to engage with me in a way that very few films ever really have. So with that being said, you would expect a lot of other people, especially critics, to be praising this movie to no end, absolutely shouting its accomplishments to the rooftops. But despite that, there are a few large creators on YouTube who, despite apparently caring about cinema and the movie industry, have been suspiciously quiet about this movie, despite it being several weeks now in theaters. Yup, I'm talking about the classic grifters. The snake oil salesmen of YouTube. People like Heels vs Babyface, Nerdrotic, or someone who I have talked about before in this channel, the Critical Drinker. All of these people and more are that classic political grifters of YouTube. People who will lash out at the smallest things in Hollywood that go against their beliefs or the beliefs that they're trying to sell. As an example, a common thing that these grifters will try to push, even if they don't say it out loud, is this idea that wokeness is ruining media, with them either reaching beyond the clouds in order to make a point, or just straight up lying in order to sell their viewers the idea that wokeness is toxic and ruining what was once sacred. These people weaponize existing toxicity and peddle it to people who they just want to have their own beliefs reassured instead of challenged. It doesn't matter if the grifters believe what they're selling, it just matters that they pump out video after video, with often ugly thumbnails and arguments so weak that the slightest use of media literacy make them... how did Omni-Man put it?
See this world crumble to dust and blow away!
The point being, these people will claim they care about media and its industry and how they represent the real fans and their opinions on how things should be run, and will claim that they care about the media it is they cover because they want it to be better. That's why they often talk about Marvel, Star Wars, Doctor Who, anything that is popular and isn't as good as it used to be. They pretend to care in order to farm engagement with their established audience. But how does this link back to Sinners? Well, something I've noticed recently is that if you look at these channels, they all share something in common. No videos discussing Sinners. Isn't that a little odd? Despite them apparently caring about the state of Hollywood and the movies they make, they don't seem to ever want to acknowledge when they actually did make a not only good movie, but a generational one. And it's definitely selective, considering channels like these aren't afraid to talk about media they deem to be good. So it's not like they only cover bad stuff. They are willing to talk about certain things that they deem are good. So why is there no talks about Sinners despite it literally being the most highly praised movie of the entire year so far? Well, it's quite simple. They are cowardly hypocrites. Remember that established audience I talked about? Yeah. These people are, from what I have seen, not to be the best of people, as a lot of the people who gravitate towards these channels are people with often extreme political views, or who hate anything that even remotely is diverse. Which, if you haven't realized yet, Sinners definitely is, as not only does it have a predominantly black cast, but its themes and story hold a lot of roots in cultures that haven't been explored much in other projects. It challenges a lot of what we already know, with a lot of uncomfortable but relevant history being displayed, with a lot of culture being implemented into this movie in order to create a almost beautiful painting. Culture that a large portion of these grifters audiences believe are what is ruining Hollywood, the quote-unquote woke issue from before. And unlike a lot of other movies like the Spider-Verse films, as an example, there's nothing in Sinners to twist or manipulate to make these people believe it to be bad or to get them to watch a video about it. It quite literally goes against everything they believe, that being a diverse movie made by Hollywood not only being good, but something generational. And so instead of talking about this movie, these people will cower away from talking about it. And it definitely is cowardly with the fact that Sinners released before Thunderbolts, and yet they were almost instant in order to jump on Thunderbolts, but Sinners gets nothing. They are being selective about it, and they're not even trying to hide it. And even when they do try to talk about it, like the Critical Drinker's positive review about the movie, they are so clearly afraid to address it publicly to their main audiences that they will often hide it in their smaller second channels so they can claim the actually card. Now, if I'm being honest, if you often see a lot of bad movies being made by Hollywood and your whole thing is that they should do better, wouldn't you want to share the one time they actually do something better on the biggest platform you have available to yourself? You know, to show people how it's supposed to be done? Yeah, I'm not kidding. Drinker uploaded a review that by all accounts is practically identical to his other reviews on his main channel, but just so happened to upload it on his second channel for no discernible reason other than what I have mentioned. Cowardice. Now, I'm not saying that these people must make videos about certain topics, but I'm simply pointing out the blatant hypocrisy going on here. You claim you care about the media being made and the people who make the media, but will shy away from the good sides of that media when it best suits your own interests. It's all biased with these people, and it's all because they can't afford to lose their viewers, because, like it or not, their tactics work, as they amplify hate and use that hate to pump up views and spread false grifting nonsense. So out of pure fear of losing some of their audience, they will sacrifice any integrity in order to please their viewers. And here's the thing, if they want to do that, then just admit to it. Don't go out of your way of talking about how much you care about the media and you want it to be better when you are too afraid to talk about the times that the media is actually good and are so quick to pounce on said media when it best suits your interests, aka Thunderbolts once again. And the funny thing is, Sinners exposed this blatant cowardice in the grifting community without even trying. It was simply put a damn good movie that made history on a few levels. It casually came in, kicked ass, and it is going to leave at some point. Now before this video ends, I recommend you go watch another YouTuber by the name of the Birdman. He's someone who pointed out in much greater detail than me the same thing I'm talking about here. It's a pretty good video honestly that helps to explain more points that I also agree with. So I will leave a link to their video down in the description of this one if you're interested. I do definitely recommend it. And if you take anything away from this video, take this. Always form your own opinions on things. Don't jump on bandwagons created by other YouTubers because it reaffirms your own biases. Go out there and challenge yourself, and what you already know by experiencing things for yourself, openly, and express yourself respectfully. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with some of the sentiments I have here, or do you disagree? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below of this video. And if you enjoyed this video or want to see more content just like this, then be sure to like this video and subscribe. Doing so not only helps me make more content just like this, but it tells me that you want more content just like this. And so with that, peeps, it's been the Pink King here, and I will see you all next time.